Hey, it's Josh, and if you're looking at me right now, you don't need to hear the rest of this. But if you're just listening, you might. This episode is also available as a video episode. If you just hop over to Spotify, it'll be available there for the exact same amount that you're paying to listen to me right now, which is nothing, zip, nada. So come on, let's jump into this really fun conversation with Scott Adkins and Ernesto Díaz Espinoza. This is The Movies That Made Me with your hosts, Josh Olson
and Joe Dante. This is really a high-tech show.
It is, yes. We're all. I have to, and because we're video, I can just hold these up. I think I've had this one since 2006, but.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Whoa, man. That's cool.
And I can't remember who turned me on to this, but I'm so grateful because I've been a fan for a long time.
Really?
And
Whoa,
when I heard Scott was begging to come back, I was like, I guess, can he bring Ernesto? And,
wow, man. I'm surprised, man. I never imagined that you have seen my movies, man. My little small movies.
It's
so cool.
Yeah, no, they're great. They really made me wish that when I was growing up, I had a friend who was like a great-looking, charismatic master of martial arts that I could make movies with. And sadly, all I've got is Joe. So
yeah, too bad. Scott's practically a regular on our show now.
That's right. This is, I believe, Scott's third appearance.
Time.
Yeah, I know. Yes. I heard the other two.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
He's a good guest.
Yeah. Yeah, they were pretty cool, man.
Your movie is pretty cool also.
You saw it. You watched it.
Of course.
That's why we're here.
We have
DIABLO.
to vet you people.
That's awesome. I'm so happy, guys. I'm honored, man. I'm honored. Yeah.
It's a blast. It's terrible to say because he's not here. But and by the way, if you want to help us get Marco, we'd appreciate that. That performance at the heart of it. I mean, Scott's always great. Scott's doing the hero thing, and we love him. But holy cow, Marco is just creepy as shit in this film.
The secret to a good movie is a good villain.
Yes.
Yeah. Totally.
Great
100%.
fight scenes. Yeah. And did you really have to saw off his hand to do the?
No. Really.
But as you since you've listened to the show, you know that that's about it. We're not going to talk about the film beyond. Oh, I should ask though. This is terrible of me. I don't. Maybe Rachel knows you. When is it open and where are we?
13th Friday.
Yeah.
Limited
Friday.
theatrical.
This Friday, yes.
This Friday. Okay, so this will have been out. This opened last Friday by our timeline here, and highly recommended. It's some great Scott Adkins action, and Marco Zerrar is phenomenal in it, and it's a blast. It is a blast. I miss good action movies.
They don't make them like this anymore.
Old school, old school
that's
action.
That's what we wanted to hear, right, Scott?
Yeah, that's what we're all about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
But let's get into it. You guys, I've had a little back and forth with Scott about you, but he loved the idea, and I do too. But Joe has no idea. We're going to talk about Joseph. We're going to talk about some of their favorite action scenes in movies.
Okay.
And I don't know who wants to go first with what, but you want to toss a coin? I don't know. Director, star. I don't want to get in between the egos here.
So we're doing five each. We've got enough time for that, right?
If we can, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you go first, Ernesto.
Okay, let's go. I'm going to start with my favorite. Under this concept of the movies that made us,
Yep.
This scene is for me like started my whole love for action and especially Bond movies, and it's the intro scene for Moonraker. That is
Moonraker.
Yeah, the first scene in when Jaws, throws him out of the plane without the parachute. And
Yes.
Remember that? And he has to,
sure.
He must grab the other guy to take his parachute off. And then comes Jaws, again, I mean, chasing him through the air. And that was amazing for me when I saw it the first time. Remember when he I don't know if you guys remember the scene, but at some point, Roger Moore grabs his pockets, from behind the trousers, and he gets to this like rocket position, to
go faster.
To go faster to the other guy.
Yeah.
And when he does that, the Bond music starts. I remember that was, for me, awesome. So that's and afterwards in Point Break, they kind of copy that pretty well done. Maybe it's better, And also the beginning of the Dark Knight Rises has some vibe similar to it.
Oh,
too.
yeah. No, you're right. That whole plane thing. Yeah. No, I remember the Moonraker because it's the thing I remember the most from that one, because it does not go on to be the best James Bond film, sadly.
No, it's not, but it has that scene.
It's an amazing opening sequence. Real stunt work back in the days when you knew, that's...
Yeah, when you knew it wasn't CGI,
no
it was a real guy.
Yeah, he actually threw guys out of airplanes.
Even though you can see the parachute is under the guy's coat, it doesn't matter because there's guys actually doing it for real.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter. Actually, I remember I was a kid and I noticed the parachute, but I didn't care, Yeah. It was pretty awesome anyways.
And Joe, am I recall, is that the first time they brought a Bond villain back?
I think so. I think so. They killed a lot of them off. So they couldn't.
Yeah, he was so popular.
What was the first one he was in?
Spy Who Loved Me.
Okay. Yeah.
He was much darker in that film, of course. Yeah, in Moonraker, he's redeemed by love. So,
as
so often happens.
Yes.
Marco's got a bit of the Jaws vibe in our film, a little bit. Freak.
The first Jaws. Yeah, he's not as sweet as the Moonraker Jaws. Without giving anything away, if there is a sequel, are you going to lighten him up and make him more lovable?
The Moonraker effect, you mean?
I mean, if you make a Diablo 2, are you gonna bring Marco back, but just make him more likable and lovable?
Because the audience loves him.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Maybe. And you never know.
Scott, what's yours?
Well, for me, like you'll all agree, one of the greatest action scenes ever has to be Raiders of the Lost Ark. The whole Nazi, Jeep trucks sequence where they did the under the Jeep and all that whole sequence, just everything about it is just incredible, right? What did real practical stunts, and the way Harrison Ford plays it, and the mess is in, and the sounds of the George Lucas punches, and just everything about it. It's so much fun, so much adventure. And just stunt work that is just on another level. But Spielberg is such an amazing action director to me. Like, completely gets it. Did the same sort of thing with The Last Crusade. The guy's talent knows no bounds, right? And you look at what he did with Saving Private Ryan and the way he used that other style, but to make those war scenes so believable and kinetic and the energy in it. But that Raiders of the Lost Ark, that I would say that's the top action sequence in my mind.
It's definitely up there, yeah, for sure. Because it's as amazing as that opening sequence is with the giant ball. There's something about the fact that, it's all practical, but there's something about the fact that it's like moving cars and horses and dozens of actors jumping and flying around. It's so insane. It's so insane. And isn't that the an homage to Yakima Canute, Joe?
Yeah. He definitely
in Stagecoach.
Right, ran Stagecoach numerous times.
Yeah.
Because they cut out amazing. A divot in the ground, didn't they? You can see the wheels are here, and then there's that little opening below where the stunt guy could be safe.
And again,
did they do it for real, like in the Stagecoach one?
Yeah. They really did it.
And he's on the wire or whatever, on the whip or whatever he was using. That's another level.
And as with Moonraker, it's like the fact that you can see some of the mechanics that go into it just make it all the more impressive.
That's why we lost so much when we got into the CGI stuff, because now you can do the same kind of scene. People go, it's just fake. It's not real. And it's a shame.
But it's also the way Harrison Ford plays it. Like you feel his pain, frustration, and fear. He's vulnerable the whole time.
Yeah.
And when he gets punched in the arm, you know, and he's been shot in the arm, you really feel those winces. He's such an amazing action star in those films, and did as much physical stuff as he could do, right? As much as he could get away with.
Yeah.
Maybe not under the truck, but, you know, he liked to get involved in the stunts, didn't he?
Yes, up to the point that, of course, is the greatest, you know, non-action scene in that movie when what did he have? He had like flu or something, and they had the whole scene with a sword fighter that was all choreographed. It was supposed to be a big like 3D shit. He was so sick he could barely move, so he shoots the guy.
One of the greatest moments in cinematic history was born through dysentery.
Exactly.
Yeah, through dysentery. That was it. Exactly. Have you ever had a moment where like you did some crazy stunt that you're just walking away from going like, that, I am good at this, I am impressed with myself, and then like 6 months later somebody sees the film and they assumed it was CG?
Trying to think.
That would drive me crazy. That would make me nuts.
I don't know. No.
Like, that's really me, goddammit. Ernesto, what is next?
What is next? Next is a movie it's not a movie that I rented or saw in the theaters. It's a movie that I especially studied to make my first martial arts movie, that was Kill Throw. And this movie is Fist of Legend.
Jet Li, yeah.
And all the fights for me were like, I was learning how to shoot them by watching this movie. Was pretty clear how was the inserts working, when you needed an open shot, a wide shot, when you needed to use like a mini trap. I remember like doing reverse engineering with the scenes and saying, okay, maybe here they're not showing the floor, so maybe there they have a mini trap, so this guy is jumping higher, and also there I understood that to keep the shots longer, you needed real martial artists, because you have a bunch of cool action scenes with the actors that trained for the movie, but it's totally different when you have a real guy that really fights and you can hold the shot, longer and with a long choreography. So it was a pretty important for me, that movie, for the fights, to specialize in shooting fight scenes.
Yeah, that had to be incredibly educational, right? To sort of watch how those guys did it. Because I remember, like, as I was starting to get into martial arts films as a kid, like realizing that, as you say, the shots are longer, and you're kind of seeing more when they're directed well, because these people can actually do this stuff.
Exactly.
It's.
I think it's also brilliant because Yuen Woo-ping was the action coordinator, and he loves using wires, doesn't he? But in that movie, he uses them minimally. And then you've got Jet Li. He's kind of doing his version of Bruce Lee, which is a bit more, less wushu, and he starts adopting the boxing and the bouncing around and the slipping and everything. But I'd say that's Yuen Woo-ping's greatest work, and he's done some of the best martial arts fight scenes that we've ever seen. But Jet Li with him in that, because the wire work is dressed down a bit, it's really impactful.
Oh, really? You think it's one of the best? That one?
I think it's his best. Yeah. Because I don't like it when there's too much wire work, or when the wire work's obvious. And there's only a few moments in that,
right? It becomes more of like kind of a spectacle and less kind of engaging. Yeah. I think.
Well, it's all smoke and mirrors, isn't it? It's like the CGI stuff. If you don't realize it's CG, then that's the best outcome. And with that, if you don't realize the guy's on a wire, that's the best outcome. Some of those Jackie Chan movies where he'll like run up and he'll grab onto the gate and he'll kick off the wall and he'll go over the gate. You don't realize that he's using a wire. You think, oh, Jackie's actually done that.
Yeah.
Because the wire work is so minimal. It was just a tiny assist and they let him drop all the way down. They don't slow him down and he's floating. And it's that is when it's when you don't realize that it's at its best. But of course, some things you can't hide it because it's inhuman and not possible. And so it is what it is.
But there's still those seeds where like I'm watching them and I'm just so immersed in movie physics that I'm like, when he's running up those walls that are, just slightly tilted, I'm going, is that actually possible? I think it might be. Even though it can't possibly be, because he sells it, man. This
is the story behind Tony Jaa. Legend has it that he didn't realize they use wires. So he's just training to do all these crazy kicks and these high-flying things, not realizing that they were on a wire. And somehow he just did it, defied gravity.
Wow.
Like, oh, it's possible. They did it, so why can't I? I just need to train harder.
Yeah, kids, don't try this at home, okay? It's I'm amazed he's alive. That's incredible. That's amazing. Scott, what's your next one?
Well, sticking with the theme of Yuen Woo-ping, I got to talk about The Matrix.
Sure.
The Matrix blew my mind when I saw that. Because being a huge fan of Hong Kong cinema and then going and watching a big budget Hollywood movie and seeing that stuff that I adored, but would never in my wildest dreams see in a Hong Kong movie and seeing it in The Matrix was incredible. But it's not actually a fight that I'm talking about. One of the most impactful action sequence in that, and it's the way it's shot, is when they're on the rooftop and the helicopter's going down, right? Neo has got the cable that's attached to the helicopter. And as the helicopter's coming down over the building, you just see him wrap the cable around his arm and you think to yourself, he's going to stop the helicopter from falling. And then what you don't realize is that she's in the helicopter, what's her name, Trinity, and she detaches the cable and she launches herself out of the helicopter. And then you see her swinging on that cable towards the camera, which is an incredibly beautiful shot. And the helicopter is behind her, exploding as the building warps and everything. All CGI, right? But great. It's mind-bendingly done with the visual effects. But that one shot of her swinging towards camera, and when you first see it, you have no idea that she's about to hit a window. So everything is glorious and pumped up to the max. And there's this beautiful explosion behind her. She's coming towards camera and then the glass smashes on the window. And I just remember being like, my God, that is cinema. That is action cinema at its best. So that stands out in my mind.
They're so good. They're so good. I don't know if we talked about this last time, but I saw that movie under the best circumstances ever, where it was a bunch of friends, whatever night it was, whatever we were doing had not panned out. We were all kind of bored. There's nothing to see. And then I can't remember who one of us had like, oh, there's sneak preview of this new movie over on the Warner's lot. It's a Keanu Reeves cyber thriller. And the last thing he'd done had been Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh, so you're like,
and so
not
we're
again.
all like, oh, Christ. Yeah, fine. We had nothing else to do, right? Let's go see this piece of shit. And then you're just sitting there all the entire time going, oh my God, just head exploding.
Yeah,
I think it's the best way to see a film. They should make all trailers should make movies look terrible.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the Matrix is a movie that is in the cinema history, man. I mean, I feel like there's a before and after the Matrix, clearly.
Yeah.
You know? It's like it changed the way of watching action movies. Then you wanted more. Yeah. When you went to watch a movie, you wanted more. You wanted to feel that thing that you felt in the Matrix. It was really something else.
Yeah, and as you say, Scott, it was like they were bringing that kind of Hong Kong sensibility that had not been seen a lot in American films at that point. I remember seeing like True Lies and being really impressed that like Jim Cameron was obviously going to John Woo movies. You know, there were some scenes there.
Mm.
But to see this, where it was just like fully just in your face, just bringing that aesthetic right into a big budget Hollywood film. It did. It felt like the beginning of a new era for sure.
It always amazes me, like you get these movies where they reinvent the wheel somehow, and specifically talking about action. Like, I wish I knew what the next version of that would be. What is the next reinvention of action? Because when somebody does something, everyone has to copy it. You've got no choice but to copy it, because to do what we were doing before and not acknowledge what has now happened, it's like, well, I can't go back to that because this is too good. So if I can't do better than this new reinvention of action, I'm just going to have to copy it. And you had that with John Woo. And then you had that with Michael Mann when Heat came out, and the way he shot that action sequence and the sound of the guns and everything. You had no choice but to do gunfights that way. John Woo ceased, and now it was the Michael Mann version. And then, of course, they reinvented it again with John Wick, with the whole jiu-jitsu within the gunplay and the close quarter stuff with the plugged up guns. And I think Gareth Evans reinvented how fight scenes could be shot with the Raid, with the way he used that smaller camera on the fig rig. And I wish I knew what the next one would be, but it'd be interesting to see what it is.
Man.
Someone will figure it out or stumble into it too. You never know. We talked about this show. My friend Dan went to see the last Dirty Harry movie, The Deadpool. The same afternoon he went to see Die Hard, and you were literally just watching that transition happen in front of your eyes. It was like watching a dinosaur die and being replaced by a human being within an hour. But you just felt the old ways. Just it's done. On to the next thing. Very cool. Ernesto, what's your next one?
Next one, I have, let me see. Well, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. Peckinpah, the final shootout. I think, it was, when I saw it, it was like, this has a different feeling, I felt like something that I haven't felt before in other movies that were like 100% action, like Hollywood mainstream action. This was like a realistic, nihilistic, it had also the atmosphere that Peckinpah creates before the shootout is this a baptism of the son of Alfredo Garcia, and there is like old Mexican music, like folk games, like a very realistic feel of Mexico that he actually does it in other movies too, like in The Wild Bunch. And you enter this like real, like close to a documentary feel of Mexico, and suddenly comes this shootout, and the attitude of this guy, like feeling that anything matters anymore, nothing matters anymore, that his woman died, all these people died, so doesn't matter if I die now. It's awesome. It's like a kamikaze, shootout, like shooting. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I love that film.
I haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
Really? Oh, you should.
I need to watch.
You should run out and get it.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a I believe there's a Criterion out. There's some great versions of it out there. It's one of those movies that every year my birthday I have a bunch of friends over, and it's like one of the movies that I will make them watch. And it's divisive for certain. There's always a couple people who hate it, which makes me crazy. But it's
that's very non-PC.
Well, yeah, I mean there's that, but it's also like very choppy, and it's very raw. There's kind of raw quality to it that I love, that I think puts some people off. And he had a very special love for Mexico. So he kind of dives into it in a way that I also think some people are like, ugh.
You can see that. It's like, a movie, a totally different movie, but that feeling, for example, Y Tu Mamá También, that Cuarón movie,
Yeah.
what's the name in English? Your Mother Too, or something like that?
Actually,
it came out as Y Tu Mama
they
También.
didn't bother putting an English name on it.
Okay. In that movie, Y Tu Mama También, that you see the scenes with the actors and they leave, then they leave, and the camera stays with the real Mexico, to some real people from some small town in the highway, and that's it's totally real, and that Peckinpah has a little bit of that, like the real Mexico. He really understood the culture and the contrast between the American cowboys and Mexican guys. It was really, really beautiful.
Yeah, and I contrast that always with I need to see it again because I'm a fan of his, but Tony Scott's Man on Fire, which for me was like 2 hours in the most hellish, horrifying vision of Mexico you could possibly imagine. Every corner is like a dark alley full of people looking to kill you. Everybody's inhuman monster. And at the very end of the film, we'd like to thank the people of the beautiful city of Mexico for that. Like, you don't love Mexico. I'm sorry. But yeah, Peckinpah had a real feel for it.
Yeah.
Oh, great film, man. Yeah, I'm loving this. Scott, what do you got next for us?
Well, I guess we can go from Sam Peckinpah to a student of his, John Woo, who I know took a lot of tricks from Sam Peckinpah. And for me, I don't like The Killer has always been my favorite John Woo film, but I have to acknowledge Hard Boiled as the greatest of his action extravaganzas. And of course, that sequence in the hospital where he goes into the Wanna, although there's so many amazing action sequences in many of his films, and especially in Hard Boiled. But the Wanna at that time, because we've had a lot since then, but at that time, to see what he did with that, with the real practical effects and the real guns, and just the staging of that whole thing, and the drama within that scene where Tony Long, shoots the cop, and how they play that in the elevator, and they go back out from the elevator, which I think what they did, I'm not sure, but I think it was all on one floor. You're right. And they redressed the outside somehow. And so the elevator closes and they go back out. I'm not sure. I might have made that up. But if that's true, that makes it even better.
Wow.
But
yeah,
as a Wanna, because you've not seen anything like that at the time. I hadn't. It's so hard to do with all the practical effects, isn't it? There's people smashing through windows. There's things exploding. There's people shooting gunfire at one another. You've got to be safe. I mean, okay, I know it's Hong Kong, and maybe it was a little bit lax. I remember that there's a picture of Chow Yun-fat in The Killer, and his eyes completely bloodshot because apparently a piece of wood went in his eyeball because they're so close to the proximity of these things that are exploding. But you can't equal John Woo, especially with that film. I mean, The Killer, my favorite film of his because it's more operatic and, the story, but just as far as action goes, Hard Boiled and that hospital Wanna in particular is just phenomenal stuff.
Well, The Killer's kind of more streamlined narrative too. It's a very whereas Hard Boiled gets kind of big and sprawling. I love them both. And I think they've resolved some of the rights issues because it's been really hard to get decent versions of any of those for a while. And I think they've
just remastered Hard Boiled. Apparently,
yeah. And
a friend went to watch it at Cannes in the cinema. And he says the color's much better, and obviously they've upgraded it. And so I look forward to seeing that when I get a chance.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Make sure you bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia before that.
Yeah, I just have to watch that. Yes, apologies.
Yes.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Every week we talk about how much we love physical media. Just in case you think we're full of it, this is just a tiny glimpse of my library here. As you know, many of the movies we talk about on the show are available at moviesunlimited.com. They're the experts on movies and physical media since 1978. You'll find thousands of titles to choose from, classics, hard to find ones, new releases. You know that physical media is where it's at. You know that you'll wake up tomorrow and it'll still be here, unlike streaming where you can never be certain. Go now to moviesunlimited.com, the movie collector's website where shipping is always free on orders over $50. Ernesto, what's your next one?
Well, total classic, First Blood. Yes. But especially the fall, you know.
Yeah.
That scene is one of those other scenes that marked me forever. You know, I remember that was the era when I was playing with the G.I. Joe action figures, mixed with the Star Wars and some feature price, you know, action figures. I made my own movies playing with them.
Awesome.
And I recreated that scene every single time I played, you know, the fall, you know, escaping, saving your life by throwing yourself to the void, you know. And I wanted to do a fall for all my life, and now we have a fall in Diablo, and it's a real fall with real stunts, so it was pretty awesome. So yeah, that's a scene that is also is kind of marked that that actions movies needed a fall, you know. It's like he started with the best fall ever, you know, that kind of I don't know, ingredient for an action movie. So yeah,
doesn't like you have to drop somebody off something.
Yeah, actually,
but it's usually the villain.
Yeah, and yeah, because when we also have these other good falls, like for example that movie with Mickey Rourke and Don Johnson, the one that they jump to a pool. What? Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah. That one, and also in The Fugitive, you have a similar feeling, but you notice that it's a dummy, so you know, so it's not. Yeah. It ruins it. But
Butch and Sundance too, have that great jump.
Yeah.
But that's what makes those films so good, because you know he's going in, you know it's a stuntman going into an airbag, but you still know it's somebody's done it for real.
Yeah.
And it you feel something different watching it.
Yeah.
Like it's scarier because it is scary, and all right,
it's terrifying,
it's dangerous, and
first bad things happen. He hits branches on the way down and all kinds of
But you don't get that from a CGI filled movie. Yeah. You can't get that. And yes, it's safer and a smarter way to do it, but you'll never get the same feeling.
Yeah, it feels like there's so many things you can do with CG that I can't argue with. That it's better and more whatever. But
this is what Tom Cruise is latching onto, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the fact that I'm showing you all the behind the scenes stuff before the movie comes out, because you need to go there and see that this is done for real, and I'm doing it.
Yeah, he doesn't hide. Like there's wires holding me to this airplane.
Yeah,
that I'm hanging off of as it flies and spins.
Yeah, I think actually Tom Cruise is the one that with the Mission Impossible movies is the one that inherited the Bond, you know, feel of the
absolutely.
You know, now those movies are the ones that have those pretty awesome, real, huge action scenes,
and they even use music the same way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, they have that killer theme song to fall back on. That's a good theme song, man. Everything. It's everything.
Yeah. We've got a good theme tune in our movie.
Yeah.
Trying to remember, it's been a while. Doesn't it always kind of gets me that like Rambo gets shot in the head right before he falls out of the tree, isn't that? And no one ever seems to mind that he gets back up.
Who, John Rambo?
Doesn't he get shot? He gets kind of shot in the tree by the guy in the helicopter.
No, he shoots close to his head, and he jumps
Close
off the
to it.
tree, and on the fall, it looks like he breaks a rib or something, and it cuts his arm.
Yeah, it falls.
And then you have the
Yeah,
greatest,
jabbed.
the greatest makeup effect I've ever seen, as he sews his own arm up in one shot. I mean, I know there's a straw and everything, but it looks pretty bloody lifelike, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We might not cut to that during this, but yeah, we'll definitely show the fall. Yeah, that's awesome.
I have to say that First Blood, I think, is the best action film ever made.
Really?
That's what I would say.
Interesting. I'm can't argue. I mean, one of the things that I love about it is just that you almost don't even notice. I think he kills one person in the entire film.
It's because it's a brilliantly acted. The stakes are so high. You just so with John Rambo, and you feel for him. You know what he's going through, and because it didn't become Rambo 2 and 3, where it just went like into crazy town. Yeah, it's much more intimate, isn't it? And it's probably, along with Jaws, the film I've watched more than any other movie in my life. I love it.
And it's so, it's great. It's so engaging because what he's going through is so simple. It's just like they're being assholes to you. Yeah. They're just being assholes. They didn't kill his family. They're not hijacking the boat he's on.
He didn't kill his dog.
They're just, but again, that simple thing that you can kind of relate to that. Everybody's been in a situation where someone is just being a dick to them for no reason.
You can also see it, like, he is a dick, but you can see it from Dennehy's point of view in a way. I mean, he's definitely been a dick and should have let him get some lunch. But also he gets to that point where I'm the law and you're fucking with the law. And the way he plays it, he's acting, it's brilliant. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, because it just escalates so smoothly that by the time Dennehy's like, yeah, this is a big mistake, it's too late. You gotta stay with that course of action. I love it. I even over time, I'm sure you've seen it many times. Like I remember when it first came out, I was probably one of them who kind of snickered at Stallone's speech at the end. But like now, the 37th time I watch it, I'm just sitting there like tears streaming down my face going, God, yes, dude, it's so unfair.
It's great. It's a great performance.
It's great. Yeah.
Too hard on Stallone. He did a great job with that.
Yeah. He really, really did. What's your next one, Scott?
So I'm going to have to go Hong Kong cinema again. I've got to go for, and there's so many to choose from, but because it was one of the first Jackie Chan films I ever saw, so it stands out in my memory, and it is Armor of God, the fight with the Amazon ladies.
Yes, the Amazon ladies. Yep,
it's just action fight choreography at its best in that Jackie Chan way, with all the humor and the stunts and the camera work and the fact that he's fighting these three ladies and he punches like the one in the boobs, and she's like, and all this, the comedy that comes from it, but added with these stunts that look like somebody died. Like this stuff that they do in that. Like he flips the one woman up and she suddenly becomes a Chinese guy with a wig on, but that doesn't matter. As he smashes through the banisters, and then you watch him come down, he lands on his head with his legs tacoing over his head. Looks like he breaks his own back. And then there's the other, I'll say guy, because it's got to be a Chinese stunt guy, jumps off the balcony and he literally just kicks her in the shins and she flips just before. Like, it looked like, I couldn't understand watching it, because I've worked with JJ Perry and he actually did the same gag in Day Shift, and I saw how they did it. But it looks like, I was thinking, well, how did he not just smack his head into the floor when he does the last minute somersault after the shin kicks? It looks so gnarly. But yeah, it's that combination of humor and the way it's shot and the fact that just like people getting wrecked. But
well, that's the one in the beginning, right, where he jumps over the wall or whatever, grabs the tree, and isn't that where he ended up with a plate in his head because
Yeah, cracked his skull open. Yeah. He told the story that because of filming in Yugoslavia, he said if it was his Hong Kong camera guys, the Hong Kong guy would have tried to catch him. But he said because it was a Yugoslavian cameraman, he took the camera and ran.
priorities, man, priorities. Yeah. Funny. As a kid, I used to love those scenes with the credits when they would show the outtakes where somebody got hurt. I find as I get older, they're harder to watch. But I have to imagine for you now, as somebody who's living that life, are those scenes like the outtakes at the end of a Jackie Chan film? Do you enjoy them more or less now that you've been doing this stuff for so long?
I love it. But Ernesto knows there's a scene in Diablo where I have to back kick this guy through a window, stunt guy, and I'm supposed to hit him in the chest. Now, my excuse is that Bogota is 2,800 feet above sea level, and I wasn't getting enough oxygen to my brain. But what happened was I kicked this guy, stunt guy, tough guy, straight in the nose with my boot, right here like that, fully connected. Was meant to hit him in the chest. He bent down a little bit. Truth be told, I probably would have hit him in the neck if he hadn't bent down. So I was way off. But he gets kicked straight in the face, hard, and then he smashes through the window, and it looks glorious. Now, I did not mean for it to happen, and I would never pull a sly move like that on anyone. But there's that element of, that looks great, mate. I really appreciate that. I didn't mean to do it. It shouldn't have happened, but it did happen. And guess what? Everyone gets to enjoy that now because there's something about seeing the reality of it that you just can't fake.
Yeah. Which
brings us back to what we're talking to and why we love these older sort of action movies, which we're trying to do with Diablo. It's that old school, gritty, we're in camera doing it.
Did the stuntman, does he share your affection for that scene, do you think? Or
I think what happened was the glass cut him up so bad that my foot to his face was the least of his worries.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's true.
Yikes. But it's great when you get a good take out of that, at least. So.
Well, it's like, thank you, gods of action.
Yes.
We appease you. And we live to fight another day. It is what it is. I'm sorry that.
Well, there's those dilemmas that on How the West was won. And some guys got killed in the logging scene on the train, and then the question is, do we use this or don't we?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember my friend Steve Carver was doing some picture with Lee Majors where a guy falls off a building, and apparently the stunt went wrong and the guy died, and then they obviously used the scene. And I asked him about it, and he said, well, if I don't use the scene, then the guy died for nothing.
Oh, God, that's a tricky one, isn't it? Try and wrap your head around that.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Don't invite his mother to the premiere.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't go that far. Now that we're on the subject.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ernesto, what's next?
Next is it is Taxi Driver, the final shootout too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, this movie had appeared a lot of times in the show, and I just heard Jeremy Saulnier talking about it.
Sure.
And I feel similar things to what he feels about this scene. It's all about this, like, the messy thing about it. It's not feeling not choreographed.
Yeah.
I love that. Makes it so raw too, so real. The mix with the gore, is so gory. Everything's like a good gore effect. The hand and the neck, the acting of these guys. I kill you, I kill you. The characters, these creepy guys with the glasses and like pimps, white pimps. everything about it is I love it, and also it doesn't have music. The editing is like receives the shot in the neck, and the gun falls, sounds to the floor. And maybe the coolest thing about it is the payoff of this gadget, the gun under the sleeve.
Yeah.
That's so cool, and it's like that at some point he's gonna use it, and it's not. Scorsese doesn't prepare it, It's not like the huge moment of that gun, but it's pretty. But it pays off, in the middle of this realistic scene, this raw atmosphere. I love that. I always wanted to do something like that, and actually in Mirage Man, that movie that you have there, the final sequence of action it has something about. I tried to copy some stuff from it. So yeah, I love that.
It's because it's not directed like an action scene, but it's a great action scene.
Exactly.
And but it's such a fine line. I thought about that a lot, where you had to really, really, really understand what he was doing in those terms, and yet still manage to make it fit into the kind of the sense of reality of that movie, while still delivering an incredibly visceral and powerful action scene that doesn't feel like an action scene. It's while using great action people, stunt people, and effects and all the rest of that. It's it's incredibly powerful and disturbing. Good stuff. I think. Oh my God, are we up to your last one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, better be good. Is it one of yours?
Oh God, there's so many I could say, but it's like it's the movies that made you, right? So there are probably better action sequences, but this one is just, I always loved it so much, and it was very inventive at the time, as far as I am aware. And it's Point Break, and it's the foot chase in Point Break.
Foot chase, yes.
The foot chase in Point Break. I always loved it in Ferris Bueller when he was hedge hopping, but they just took it to the next level, didn't they? And what I didn't understand at the time, not knowing much about filmmaking, but they talk about the camera was on a pogo stick, they call it. I don't know what a pogo stick is, but the way it's been explained is it was on some sort of stick. Now, I don't know how heavy this camera would have been at the time, mid-90s, but it must have been pretty hefty, right? Right, Joe?
Yeah.
Filming on film.
Sure.
And they've managed to have it at that low angle, following the feet almost as they're jumping over the fences, going through the different houses and stuff. And that chase scene was just so energetic, the way Catherine Bigelow chose to shoot it. It always just stuck out in my mind. Like, it's just so impressive. And I don't know, I've always wondered, well, what is a pogo stick? Do you guys know?
Well, a pogo stick is actually something that kids use, and they bounce on it.
So it's that.
You
mean you don't know what it? Yeah,
it's a rod, and you hold on to the top of it, and then you bounce, and it's springy on the bottom, so you can actually bounce around.
I'd love to see footage of how they did that. What it
I don't
actually
know how
was.
you will put a camera on a pogo
I think
stick?
a pogo stick for a cameraman is a different thing.
I think it's something else. Yeah.
They call it that, but it doesn't really bounce around like a pogo stick.
Yeah.
I was actually a pogo stick champion when I was about 13.
You would be.
It's
Obviously.
the most useless skill.
Obviously, we get a lot of action scenes like that now with the smaller digital cameras.
Yeah, now that you can just...
But at the time, I don't remember seeing anything like that. It's just like, wow. Just really impressive action sequence, and, smashing through the glass and the dog being thrown at him and everything.
The dog is the moment. There's something about that dog. I just saw a chase scene the other day. I was watching with a friend, and it reminded me enough that I turned up and I was like, they're not going to throw a dog at anyone?
What we got to remember next time we watch John Wick and they kill the dog, just remember that Keanu Reeves threw the dog on the floor and then booted it in the head in Point Break.
Yeah, well.
But that to me was a great action sequence.
Yeah.
I loved growing up.
But that also, the thing about that it's so, because that is such a, on the page, it's like a foot chase through some back alleys and through some, it's like, yeah, okay, that could be, in a movie that is packed with just like world class, Ernesto, when you talked about Moonraker, I immediately went to like my favorite version of that stunt is Point Break, where it's like, where Keanu's just, and I remember watching that film the first time going, if he jumps out of the airplane without a parachute, this is going to be my favorite action movie of all time. And he jumps out of the plane without a parachute and catches the guy. And you're talking about these epic, beautifully conceived action scenes. And then, and they are matched by a couple of guys just running around through alleys. It's amazing how she's such a great director.
Yeah.
That's a great sequence.
Amazing female action director back then as well.
Yeah, that scene was in my list too.
Have I took it from you there?
No, because I'm done. So
we got
We've met the quota.
We've met the quota. That's right. Yeah, no, but I love that bit, and I'm I love that she's gone on to be, I don't know, she's much more respectable now. But God, I wish she'd like, I don't know. There's this thing, you get these directors who can do action so well, which I would argue is harder than most things. And they always feel like they have to like graduate to something more respectable. I'm like, holy shit, we got a million people who can make, serious dramas. Like, you're a great action director. Why do you have to leave us? I love Point Break so much. I love it so much.
And I'm curious, what about you guys? What about you, Joe and Judge? Your favorite action scenes?
Favorite action scenes? Well, as you pointed out, there are so many that I'm sure you guys had a list that were like 100, and then you had to pick out the ones that you wanted to highlight. I've seen a lot of movies, and I would have to say that the fight in the train From Russia with Love was always something that really impressed me. And at the time, that was really fairly brutal, for a commercial picture at the time. And now it seems like the audience is so inured to violence that it's hard to make that kind of an impression anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know. I got to see. I was thinking like one of the scenes I love. I just rewatched it. There's these gorgeous new 4Ks of some Clint Eastwood films from the 70s, and we just watched Dirty Harry again. I hadn't seen it in a long time. And I remember going to see Edgar Wright programmed it at the New Beverly a few years ago. And I remember he asked, the majority of the audience were like younger and they had never seen Dirty Harry. And talk about like a small scene in terms of like scale and everything. But the bit where the school bus comes around the corner and Andy Robinson starts freaking out and you cut and there is Clint. And it's not Dirty Harry being played by a stuntman. It's Clint standing on that bridge. The entire audience just they just exploded. They were just cheering. And then all he does, again, you couldn't pay me to do this. It's terrifying, but I'm sure you could do this in your sleep, Scott. He jumps off a little bridge. What does he do? About 8 feet, maximum 5 feet, onto the top of a bus that's only going about 20 miles an hour. And it is just one of the greatest stunts I've ever seen just because of the emotion of it. It just like, and it as much as, it does feel like we become inured to stuff, seeing a bunch of kids lose their minds just at that thing just gave me kind of hope that, it still is, as you've just done with your film, it's still, context is still everything. Like if I'm not emotionally invested in what's happening, I don't care how spectacular it is.
But here we go again, you see, it's because you saw that it was Clint that actually did it.
Yep.
Even though, he's 20 miles an hour, but it's the fact that he's done it. And it doesn't pull you out of the movie, does it? In fact, you invest into it more because he's gone the extra mile to do that.
Yeah. And it's just, and they make a point of shooting in a way that isn't just like, hey, look, it's our star. They shoot it in a way that keeps the kind of intimacy and the power of it. Like it's not, some stunt guy looking the other way while he jumps on top of it. It's like, you can tell it's him. The camera even shakes a little bit.
But I remember they did a similar thing in Quantum of Solace, and Daniel Craig, like I learned this from watching the behind the scenes. He jumps off a ledge onto a car or a truck or something like that. Can't quite remember. But the way they shot it with the shaky cam, when you watched the movie, you had no idea that he'd actually done the stunt. It's like, well, what's the point of that then?
Yeah, exactly. Then you get that opposite thing. That also had a scene that made me crazy where it was like, he's fighting with somebody on some scaffolding and it's all in a long shot and they're both wearing black suits and have similar hair and it's stunt guys. So you literally can't tell who's beating the hell out of who until the end of the scene and James Bond stands up. It's like very important. Very important. Make sure people are wearing different wardrobe if you're going to be doing your.
Oh, and also there's a way that people have come to shoot action scenes now, like in the Bourne Identity, those car chases where you can't tell anybody, you can't tell which car is which, you can't tell where they're going, you can't tell. It's just, and it's all very fast and on purpose, but it's confusing and it's not satisfying.
The later ones, I'll give Doug Liman. Everyone talks about how great that car chase in Bourne is, but the car chase he did in Go. Does anybody remember Go?
Yeah, Go is a better car chase.
But I thought the one in Bourne was pretty good. The later Bournes, I agree with you. But yeah, where it's just the drama of people in a car being chased by people who are scarier than them. And then it's like, how do you direct it? How do you shoot it? How do you make me feel like I'm there? Like you don't need to have, a meteor approaching them and somebody about to set off a nuclear bomb and a guy standing on top of it doing pyrotechnics. It's just people in a car being chased by somebody else in a car.
Well,
it's riveting.
Duel, Spielberg's.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's, man.
I still can't. I watch it every couple of years. And I'm like, how? This time I'm going to pay attention. This time I'm going to figure out how he manages to sustain that for 90 minutes.
It's a cinematic manual. You could teach a class just with that one movie.
Yeah. By the time I get through it, I'm like completely forgetting to pay attention to how he did it. I'm just like locked into it. But yeah, great stuff. Well, guys, man, thank you so much, Scott. It is always great to have you on the show. Ernesto, it's such a pleasure to meet you, man. It's
me too. It's an honor. I'm a fan, so it's like I don't know, man. Best moment of my career being with you guys. Seriously.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Man.
Oh no, he's complete. I believe it 100%, Joe. Take the compliment.
Yeah, man, Joe, man. I mean,
he reached out to me. Sorry, Ernest, just to tell them, he reached out to me and said, "Are you doing the movies that made me?" I'm like, "You want to be on it?" It's like, "You've got to get me on it." So here he is.
Yeah, man.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Yeah,
well, we are very thrilled to have you back. Come back with the next one.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Great.
I'd love to.
Come back on your own. We don't need Scott. Scott's on here so often.
You're one of the boys now, so you don't need me.
That's right.
Cool, man. I'm glad. Thank you, guys.
I'm not allowed back on until I've watched Bring Me the Head of Alfonso, whatever it is.
Alfredo, not Alfonso.
Alfredo, okay.
Yeah.
Am I going to have to fight you again?
Yes,
it's
over Zoom.
Over Zoom. Someday he'll be in the States. I don't have to hide. The movie is Diablo. It just opened, limited release, and will be in streaming shortly after, we assume, or
see it in the theaters in widescreen.
Let's see it in the theaters, yeah, because it's a blast and amazing action scenes. Which was. That's the great thing is like watching one of your movies, Scott. I'm like, it's like the one thing I'm guaranteed is there's going to be some awesome fights. And you guys delivered in spades. So, thank you very much. And,
thanks guys. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
And enjoy the rest of your publicity tour. The Movies That Made Me is the official podcast of Trailers from Hell, best damn movie website. There is our engineers, the composer Don Barrett, who also transmogrified, produced, and created our theme song. We are proud to be part of the SpectreVision Radio Network. Learn more at SpectreVision.com. This is the AI version of Josh Olson. If you want more of these video episodes, be sure to tell 100 friends. And maybe sign up for our Patreon, you cheap bastards. This shit is work with a capital W. This is your AI overlord signing off.